Alright, it's 2015, which means it's time for a whole new year of videos. Only question is, what should I pick to kick things off? A Turkish superhero knockoff, a drive-in exploitation movie, maybe another adult animated film? Screw it, I'll just pick something most of you probably haven't heard of. War God is a 1976 monster movie likely produced in either Hong Kong or Taiwan, and that's pretty much all there is to tell about it, really. Up until a few months ago, only a few people in North America had any idea this movie even existed, and even fewer had actually seen it. But then all of a sudden, the movie was posted on YouTube, finally giving War God a chance to get ripped apart by sarcastic assholes like me. The movie's known by several alternate titles, including Guan Yu, Calamity, and God of War. Yeah, unless I hear Linda Hunt saying Kratos, I think I'll just stick with War God. Oh, and it also got a review by some guy called, Enshoma? Well, I don't know who that is. Anyway, time to kick off 2015 with War God. The movie's brought to us courtesy of the fine folks over at Mempersembacon. I don't know what that means, but judging by their logo, I'm assuming it's when 3 sperm cells have a menage a trois. Okay, let's see what the opening credits are like. What the hell? Funk music? You know what? That's okay. As long as a plesiosaur and a pterodactyl don't show up, I'm cool with this. You gotta love how so many Asian monster movies in the 70s wanted to have blaxploitation soundtracks. Kinda makes me wish they made a Blackzilla. Whoa, okay, never mind. Aw, would you look at that? The movie thinks people are actually gonna give a shit that it's copyrighted. That is just adorable. Anyway, the beginning of a movie is the perfect time to grab people's attention, so let's see how War God gets the audience excited. No one will be seated during the thrilling woodworking scene. Alright, so it's not off to a great start, but maybe things will pick up. War God, capturing all the thrills and excitement of an office smoke break. Jesus, this opening is so boring even the movie blacks out at one point. Another thing you'll notice is that even though this movie was made in China, the film quality looks like it was imported straight from Turkey. Even the editing seems like something straight out of Turkish Spider-Man. Okay, that's not quite true. If this really was a Turkish knockoff movie, that scene would have gone a little more like this. Also, unlike the Turkish movies, there actually are subtitles this time, but fuck if I can read most of them. A lot of the time, they're either cut off by the side of the screen or they just blend in with the background. Plus, I get the feeling these subtitles were translated in Babelfish anyway. You know what? Screw it. I'm still making my own subtitles.
老伴儿，你不是说过吗？完成最完美的关公像。
In addition to this guy's retirement hobby, there's also a plot involving a group of scientists who are doing things with bees that looks about as scientific as burning ants with a magnifying glass. Oh, and also the Chinese wild angels here, I guess. Turns out these plot lines actually are connected, since one of the scientists is this guy's son, I think, and he decides to pay his father a visit.
爸爸，医生说过，您不能在夜间工作。 而且油灯太伤眼力，您的眼睛会更恶化的。
A lens flare? Wow, I didn't know J.J. Abrams directed this. Maybe this means the Cloverfield monster will show up. Well, now that we've seen what this guy does in his free time, let's see some more people relaxing. Yeah, take note everybody. This is what happens when you pee in a pool too many times. Yeah, that's a good question. What is your plot, movie? One thing I do know, being a paperboy in Hong Kong must be really easy. After all, the newspapers come equipped with strings. Actually, this has to do with some weird events involving gravity happening all over town, but you'd never know it since people act like it's just a minor annoyance.
出来，糟糕，地心引力整个消失。
Oh, damn it, movie, quit rewinding yourself. You're not making me watch this again. Oh well, at least I finally figured out what the scientists are doing. Turns out they were busy inventing Pong this whole time. Also, I refuse to believe this movie actually had a director. Oh, and remember what I said earlier about having popular music on the soundtrack? Well, I guess I shouldn't be too surprised. This movie is Chinese. They had to fit some kung fu in there somewhere. And I suppose it's time we had something resembling a monster in this monster movie. Okay, everybody just relax. I'm on Channel Awesome now, which means I can use that joke. Just like how if he wants to, the Nostalgia Critic can use this gag. The kids tell the cops, but of course they don't believe him.
他自己飞上天的。
哎，对，真的。
胡说，人怎么会飞上天的？
Okay, so I guess that thing with the gravity going crazy earlier happened to everybody except for the cops? And not a single person reported anything? I guess? I don't know, this guy acted like floating milk was no big deal, so maybe nobody did report anything. Okay, so the main plot line, or at least what I can make out of it, involves this girl having nightmares about Martians who say they'll destroy the world unless we get rid of our nuclear weapons. I don't know why she's afraid of them, though. Everybody knows all it takes to stop a Martian invasion is a sarcastic rabbit. Eventually the Martians do start invading, although I wouldn't worry about them since apparently they think geese and cows are the dominant species. Anyway, how are the human characters doing?
哥哥，你到底要带我到哪里啊？
国家安全紧急会议。
你们总算相信我的话了。
Thankfully, the humans have lots of data on the Martians, as clearly shown by this 4-year-old's drawing of them. Also, I think I figured out what this guy's working on. It's a statue of the bad guy from Turkish Star Wars. Okay, it's actually a statue of the deity Guan Yu, and the reason he keeps working on it is because he thinks it's the only thing that can stop the Martians, and not his son's puny science. Makes sense. I mean, name a monster movie where it's a bunch of scientists who end up stopping it. Other than, you know, pretty much all of them. Oh yeah, the Martians. We're over halfway through this monster movie. Guess it's about time we had some monsters. This is what happens when Rita Repulsa sends her monsters someplace other than Angel Grove. Meanwhile, the science team has moved on from fucking with bees to just randomly burning holes in stuff. Yes, you've succeeded in proving fire burns things. Well, at least you seem to be doing better than this guy. Oh no, not my workshop! I must save my precious photo of Imelda Marcos! I gotta say, it doesn't seem like the Martians have a very complex invasion plan. They just seem to be acting like drunk assholes. And if you want us to get rid of Earth's nuclear weapons, maybe you should just destroy those instead of causing as much destruction as a nuclear explosion. Anyway, the science team plans to stop the Martians with a new type of handgun they've created. I would think something like a missile or a bomb would be more effective than a small handgun. This kind of seems like trying to take down a T-Rex with a pea shooter, but then again, I'm not a scientist. Of course, the guns don't do shit, proving that science is no match for, more science, I guess. Oh well, at least when the Martians kill people, they're nice enough to provide their own chalk outlines. Let's hope Dad's statue can save the day. As it turns out, though, the crazy old bastard might have been onto something. Oh good, the war god's here. Surely his magical jingle bell of doom will save us. By the way, that gag, not too far off from what they actually say. Hey, I got a question. If all it takes is a wood carving to make a god appear on Earth, why doesn't this guy just make like a dozen of these things? And for that matter, why the hell are the Martians fighting him hand to hand? Weren't they using lasers earlier? The Martians end up leaving because the sun is gone, even though it's clearly still daytime out. Whatever, I think the real reason they're leaving is because fighting made them throw up all the cartoon beer they drank. Also, why is this guy so upset that Guan Yu just saved them? He got rid of the Martians, didn't he? Who cares if that makes your science dick feel tiny? If you're upset your solution didn't work, next time try fighting building-sized aliens with something bigger than a fucking handgun. Plus, you proved you're not very good scientists when you said it was dark when they left. Anyway, this guy's blind now because... I don't know, subtitles I guess. And he says he still needs to paint Guan Yu's eyes to defeat the Martians. Really? Not having eyes didn't seem to affect him before. Maybe you should carve him some extra arms or a bazooka or something. Or better yet, just carve a statue of Godzilla. That way this video will get twice the views. While he finishes the statue, the camera appears to have dropped acid. Quick, better give Guan Yu some happy little eyeballs before it's too late. Well, having eyes doesn't seem to have affected Guan Yu's fighting style very much, but at least he's got the editor on his side now. Let's see if the Martians have learned anything new. And so the Martians use their lasers to... make a net? The fuck are you guys doing? You have lasers, just shoot them in the face! Wow, that flimsy net was about as effective as putting a flimsy net over him. You got any other bright ideas? Okay, so could the Martians do this the whole time too? Forget the god of war, the god of crocheting could probably defeat these guys since apparently they just forget they have powers. You know how in my Turkish videos I wondered if there was ever a Turkish Ultraman? Well, this is the closest thing I've seen so far. Here's another question. Why the hell are there still people inside the buildings? You're getting attacked by Martians. I think you can take a day off work. Uh-oh. Better black out the sperm. I don't want this to get flagged. There we go. Anyway, one Martian has the power to grow even bigger. Why didn't you do that in the first place? But Guan Yu has the power to make him tiny. Why didn't you do that in the first... screw it. Well, we've gone this far. Let's introduce even more one-use powers and then have these two just get into a slap fight. Hey, don't worry about the arm, it's only a flesh wound. And so is this, apparently. And so Guan Yu defeats the Martians and saves the city. In kind of the same way Superman saved Metropolis in Man of Steel. I guess it doesn't matter though, since all it takes to fix everything is a dissolve. And content with what he's achieved, this guy gets to work carving a sex doll to replace his wife. So that's War God, a lost giant monster movie that's now been found. But was it worth finding? The giant monster action doesn't really start until halfway through, but there's enough weird, goofy stuff until then to keep fans of cheesy monster movies entertained. Like I said, in terms of both production quality and entertainment value, the best things to compare this movie to are films like Turkish Spider-Man or Turkish Superman, so if you enjoyed those, you should enjoy this too. Well, that's my first video of 2015, but there's lots more to come. Until next time.